So Donald Trump had an absolutely terrible day in court yesterday because one of his most loyal supporters, when they were on trial, blamed Donald Trump for why they were there. That during this trial, one of Donald Trump's supporters declared that Donald Trump is the guilty party. And this has everything to do with January 6th, because this person said, if it wasn't for Trump lying to me, if it wasn't for Trump riling me up, I never would have even been there. I want to read you some reporting. It says, in fact, then President Trump assured the crowd the then VP Mike Pence had an absolute right to send the votes of the electors back to their individual states to be recertified. He told them that this was the only way, quote, we could become president. He is a lone individual who was persuaded by the rhetoric of then President Trump and the Republican Party and was led to believe that the 2020 election was taken. Mr. Fitzsimmons believed the fraud occurred, and which ultimately led to his arrest in this instant manner. Convinced that the election results had been fraudulent, he was moved by the words of then President Trump to travel to the District of Columbia for the rally. More, Mr. Fitzsimmons stood and listened to speaker after speaker explain how the election results were not accurate and what steps could be taken to petition Congress to act to correct them, including Donald Trump saying, let's march to the Capitol. And so let's be really clear here. This is one of Donald Trump's thugs, one of the cult members, in court when their butt is on the line saying, actually, it's not my fault. I was only there because Donald Trump riled me up and lied to me and misled me, and that's why I was there. Now, this is awful for Trump because, one, it is in a court of law in front of a judge, somebody very close to him saying that he is the guilty party. He is being declared guilty in this court of law. But we have to be really clear here. It's not about if this is going to work for this particular defendant. I don't think this argument's going to work. The judge might take it into account when assessing a guilty sentence. The judge might give them a slightly lighter sentence because of this, but ultimately that person did what they did and they have to own it. But this is awful for Trump from a legal and political perspective. First, from the political perspective, it's yet another person on official records saying that awful thing that happened back in January, it's not individual people acting individually, it was Trump's fault. We were only there because Trump sent us there, and other top Republicans sent us there, and Rudy Giuliani and the Trump sons sent us there. It's their fault. And whether or not that's a court of law argument, it's a political argument. And it makes it very clear that January 6th was not just random dudes marching on the Capitol, but a coordinated effort in a political sense to disturb and distort and destroy democracy. But this is even worse for Trump from a legal perspective, because this is the exact sort of thing that will be used against him in civil and maybe even criminal cases, as well as the January 6th committee. Donald Trump is being investigated for his role on January 6th. And this sort of evidence of people blaming him, of saying they were sent on his behalf, looks awful for him. And he's just been sued again by the Capitol Hill police. And if they're trying to make a civil argument, and in civil court, the burden of proof is lower, that Donald Trump caused the incitement that led to the damages they're seeking reparations for, then evidence from other courts, from Trump supporters saying it's Trump's fault, will be very useful to them. Donald Trump being declared guilty by his own supporters in court will hurt him down the line. How much remains to be seen, but it could lock him up and it could make him bankrupt.